In this review, I'm going to tell you why I don't think the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 campaign is bad at all. And honestly, I kind of like it. And if you like that, drop me a like and subscribe. I know this isn't the take that everyone is looking for because it's easier to pan the game, but the scores I'm seeing for this game, you would think this game is broken and it doesn't work. I feel it's becoming the norm to have a controversy surrounding the release of Call of Duty campaigns every year. I'm wondering if it's expectations versus reality that caused this year after year. IGN gave it a 4 out of 10 and players are review bombing it on Metacritic, not even knowing that it's the wrong game they're doing it to. The new release of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 doesn't currently have a Metacritic score, but that doesn't stop angry gamers. Given the state of the gaming industry and all the console war stuff that goes on, I wouldn't be surprised that because Xbox now owns Activision, this surrounds a lot of the controversy. I was excited about this year's release of Call of Duty after playing the multiplayer beta and having a blast with it. I was disappointed to see that all the scores dropped from the campaign and all the negativity surrounding this game. I was disappointed that there's no Platinum Trophy this year for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 on PlayStation 5, but there is for the PS4. The PS5 version, for some reason, shows up as DLC under Modern Warfare 2. I wanted to form my own opinion on the campaign because I like campaigns in the past, and I haven't finished a Call of Duty game since Cold War because it was free, but I'm ready to jump in this year. I've been playing Call of Duty games since the Xbox 360 launch and have been very much into them, but I fell a bit off in the past couple of years. Can't put my finger on why I stopped playing them, but it could have been that I was getting some multiplayer fatigue and I was only into the single player story-driven games. When my daughter was born, I didn't have the time for gaming that I did in the past, so I became more selective of what I was playing and where I spent my time. She's older now and into gaming herself, which has got me back into all sorts of games big time. And when I play Call of Duty Modern Warfare beta, I loved it. I was right back in. I played on the PS5 and want to be fully transparent that Activision provided me a code for review. I used both the DualSense and the DualSense Edge to see if it gave me an edge or felt different. It took me over 4 hours to complete the campaign and I played it on recruit difficulty. If you know me, I always play my games on the easiest setting because, as I mentioned before, I'm a dad and my time is very valuable to me. When I started my playthrough, I was only using the DualSense controller and I have to say, I love the haptics. I've played Call of Duty games on Xbox and I have to say the DualSense is a game changer for immersion. You can feel the different guns in the triggers and the DualSense has different vibrations for other guns. I have been told by some though that they don't like the vibrations and they turn them off, especially during multiplayer. When I switched over to the DualSense Edge though, I still had the haptics, but I was able to change my trigger sensitivity, which allowed me to pull the triggers to fire by barely even touching them. This allowed me to have faster reflex time in shooting enemies and made it more enjoyable experience. Made me feel like I was good at shooters for once. If you don't have a DualSense Edge and you play a lot of Call of Duty, I would highly recommend you pick one up. There are many YouTube videos out there that can give you the best settings for your DualSense Edge. I even mapped out my reload and my switch weapons buttons to the back paddles to make the gameplay more efficient. The story itself, I felt, was good and captivating. I'm not going to spoil anything here, so I won't talk about plots, but they do take you to some interesting locales and they even get to use a variety of operatives. As always in a Call of Duty game though, they have a fantastic intro that gets your heart pumping and drops you right into the action. The prison was a great set piece to start the campaign and made a memorable experience. If you're looking for big action and variety, you still have it with this story. Maybe people's biggest gripe is the length, but I didn't feel that way when I played. I've seen some critics say that the story was boring. I didn't find that at all. I did find some of the missions different and detracted from what I was used to doing in a Call of Duty, but I'm saving that for the gameplay section of this review. I like the story enough that I purchased Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 so that I can play the story as well. I miss these types of stories that have fast-paced action and some awesome espionage elements. In this version of Call of Duty, they tried something different though from the mainline Call of Duty campaigns. I'm still unsure if they ran out of time or if they wanted to add open world aspects. I'm used to playing Call of Duty campaigns with a linear path and something a little bit semi-open world, but there are a couple levels in this campaign that are not at all anything like I've ever played before. They almost feel like Call of Duty Warzone maps that they put mission structures in. For what I'm told though, these missions are great to replay to collect trophies or achievements for the game. I didn't like them very much at all. They took away from the cinematics that I'm used to and the big set pieces of the Call of Duty game. It felt like I was just shooting fish in a barrel as waves of enemies would come after me and I would just kill them one by one. At one level, they even had a parachute, which makes you feel more like Warzone. Not only did they use this type of gameplay from Warzone, but they also used the mechanics of replacing your plates to add armor to the game. I've said this before, but when a developer has figured out the secret sauce, don't mess with it. If something works in one game, it doesn't mean it's going to work in another. Activision has written the book on the first-person shooter campaign, and I wish they just would stuck with what had worked. These new elements added are fine for multiplayer, but didn't fit the single-player campaign. There were many levels that were great, and the gameplay felt fantastic, but some fell flat, and the constant reminder of Call of Duty Warzone I could have done without. I was entertained by the campaign and felt that the gameplay was good enough. Was it the best Call of Duty campaign? No, it was still good though, and I enjoyed it. I'm glad it wasn't long either, and it felt good length to tell the story they told. It had all the exciting moments I expect from a Call of Duty campaign. It just didn't have that wow factor graphics like the Cold War campaign did. Had some variety of action and a couple levels that I could do some stealth in. In the end, the Warzone reminders were the only constant that I wasn't a fan of, but I'm still excited to jump into the multiplayer when it comes out. Would I recommend people to buy this? I liked it enough to buy an older Call of Duty that I hadn't played yet. So yes, it's Call of Duty, and it's not reinventing the wheel. They made some adjustments that they hopefully don't go back till next year. All in all though, it's good, not great, but it isn't bad. I've been Court from 3 Dads and a Console, so if you liked what you just heard, please drop me a like and subscribe, and if you didn't, let me know in the comments.